Hello everybody, it's Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to have a look at the USE minis from yesterday and just show you how sometimes you can get some good trades, sometimes you can have some losing trades, and sometimes the market can just be plain frustrating as it chops sideways. This is all part of what happens on a daily basis when you're trading. But let's have a look at our risk disclaimer and just remind you that all examples in these videos should be considered as hypothetical. No trades are actually taken, they're just shown for illustration and training purposes only. Remind you there's a risk of loss in trading and investing. Put another way, all professional traders know and understand, but more importantly accept that losses can and will and do unfold. It doesn't matter what trading approach you take, there always will be losing trades. Right, let's have a look at the 3-minute day session only chart from yesterday on. Let's start with the NQ. Now the day session only is our regular trading hours, which is from 9:30 to 16:15 New York time. As you can see, our MTP indicator or MTP trend indicator was red, but we don't use that first and foremost. We go out to our higher time frame chart. These are a time frame between 3 and 5 time frames higher, so on a 3-minute chart you go out to a 15-minute chart. Here you can see the market was declining down. Our next support zone would have been off this low here because that was the last swing into the high, so that would be our support zone. So the market was going down into a support zone. You can see it hadn't reached it yet, so the larger trend was still down. If I go to the 3-minute chart, you can see there's the 15-minute support, so the larger trend was down into that level, which it didn't reach throughout the day. So the larger trend was down, so therefore you'd be looking for short trades. So you wouldn't be taking this potential long setup here. You can see we had a history triangle to show you there was a potential trade setup here that you can place the analysis on, but we wouldn't be taking that because, as we've already said, larger trend was down. There was also a history triangle here, and this shows you there was another potential trade setup. The trade setup was actually on this little red bar here. Can you see this one here? Because here, if I place the analysis on this bar, you can see that wouldn't have actually been taken in, but it was actually on this bar here. So if I place the analysis on it, you can see that would have taken you into a short trade, only just ticked you into a short trade, but this can and does happen sometimes. Trading can be very frustrating. If you were taken into this, you'd then be stopped out and it would have been a -1R loss. This is where we use position sizing. So if we keep our initial risk small, at less than 2% of a sample $20,000 account, that would have been going short 2 contracts on the NQ, and that means it would have been a loss of 1R, or what we call 1 risk unit. We then had another trade set up here. So if I place the analysis on this, you can see this one was taken in again, but this time it did go down to its first target, where a profit of approximately just over 5R was available. So this is the whole idea of MTPredictor. We're not trying to have a high percentage of winning trades. No trader can. There always will be losing trades, but when the losses come through, the losses are kept small at -1R, and over time when the profits come through, we hope these profits are large, but not just in dollars, but in terms of risk units. If we look at some of the other markets, if we look at the ES yesterday, this was a very choppy and horrible day. You can see there were some sell setups. This first one here didn't really go anywhere. This second one did actually reach its first target, and there was a buy setup at the end which was against a red MTP trend. But if we look at our 15-minute chart, which we always have to, you can see here was the previous pivot low. So if we put the decision point on here, can you see how that did actually hold the low of the day yesterday? So if I come down to the 3-minute chart, can you see how here we had 15-minute support? So this is what we say when it's a confusing day. So what happens when you get support, but your MTP trend is red? One thing is telling you that the support and the market is likely to rally. The other thing is telling you that there's a downtrend because the MTP trend is red and the market is likely to decline. So what do? Do you take longs or shorts? Well, as we always say, if the market's not clear, you then stand aside. So in reality, on a day like this, you'd have stood aside. And that wouldn't have been a bad thing because you see the market just basically trended sideways and was a really choppy, horrible day in a narrow range. The YM was something similar. If I look at this one here and I go out to the 15-minute chart, there was that last previous high there. So that would have been the decision point level on the 15-minute chart. Remember, these could be placed on the chart in advance. So this would have been on that chart before that high was reached. If I go to the 3-minute chart, you can see it did actually tag that, which was actually the high of the day. So this may have been a trade that you wanted to take, but look, it just didn't go anywhere. It just came in, took you in short, and just chopped sideways the whole of the day. I mean, in reality, once the market got down to about here, you'd probably have bought your stop to break even and been stopped out for break even. But to be perfectly honest, I wanted to show you this today just to show that markets can be really horrible and choppy and frustrating. Even if we caught the high of the day on the the YM, we caught the low of the day on the ES with our 15-minute DPs. Both markets were choppy and horrible, but actually it was quite nice that the NQ, we did actually have a nice profitable trade after a losing trade to start with. Again, this is important to understand that losses can and will and do unfold. No matter what trading approach you take, there always will be losing trades. This is why what we do with our position sizing is when the losses come through, we try to keep the losses small at what we call one risk unit. Then when the profits come through, we aim to have the profits large, so over time the profits are large and the losses are kept small. So hopefully a good example of seeing MTPredictor in action yesterday on what quite frankly was a really choppy and horrible day.